Founded as a resort town in 1876, St. Petersburg, Florida, has logged more consecutive days of sunshine than any other city in the world. But alongside the sun and sand is a stirring institution of solemn remembrance, the Holocaust Museum of Florida. On display are a collection of artifacts that recall history's darkest hour. But among them is an item that acts as a powerful symbol of hope.
It was made in the early 1940s of white cotton, handmade buttons, and blue embroidery. It has a stain on it that may be blood.
This time-worn shirt is connected to one of the most daring rescue operations of the Second World War.
The fate of thousands rested in the hands of one man.
1943, Nazi-occupied Belarus. In this small Eastern European country, Hitler's forces are unleashing a reign of terror on the Jewish population. Countless Jews are murdered, while thousands of others are crammed into ghettos to await deportation to the death camps.
The Nazi regime was brutal. The Jews were terrified, and it seemed like there was nothing that they could do.
But one man is mounting a stirring resistance. 36-year-old former interpreter Tuvia Bielski.
Tuvia saw his parents killed at the hands of the Nazis. And when he saw that, it made him feel angry. And he knew at that time that he wanted to save as many Jews as possible.
Bielski has set up a secret hideaway deep in the Belarusian forest, where he leads a group of Jewish partisans. Their mission? To liberate as many Jews as possible and hide them from the Nazis.
Tuvia was a natural leader. He was very charismatic and was never afraid of a fight.
For months, Tuvia's forces have been sneaking into the ghetto under cover of darkness, rescuing Jews and taking them back to the safety of the forest. Key to the operation's success is staying out of sight of Nazis and keeping the location of the camp secret. So far, they have rescued 700 Jews from the clutches of the Nazis.
Whether they were young, old, sick, women, children, everybody was welcome in the Bielski group.
But as the camp's population soars, the brave partisans fall victim to their own success. With so many mouths to feed, they begin to starve.
The group just kept on growing, and food became a constant worry. They were always hungry, and there was always a lack of it.
To make up for the shortage, Tuvia is forced to take more risks. Rather than just sending men into the ghetto, he also has to deploy armed units to raid local farms.
At any time, a peasant would turn in a Jew, and they would get paid for it by the Nazis.
Then, one day, Tuvia's worst fears are realized. He receives news that the Nazis have spotted his men stealing meat from a nearby farm. And now Hitler's henchmen are barreling toward the secret camp. Tuvia instructs the group to abandon the site and head deeper into the forest.
It was complete chaos. Tuvia had to keep the group together, and he didn't want people left behind.
The group runs for their lives. But suddenly, they are stopped in their tracks. Stretching for miles across the dense woodland is a massive swamp. With the Nazis fast approaching, there's no time to go around.
The Germans were so close that they could hear the dogs.
Tuvia and the partisans have no idea how deep or long the swamp is. If they enter, they risk drowning in the dark and murky waters.
The fate of the entire Bielski group is on the line.
It's 1943. In the forests of Belarus, a courageous band of Jews, led by a man named Tuvia Bielski, is hiding from the Nazis. But when the Germans discover their secret camp, the group is forced to make a run for it. So can Tuvia save his people from the evil clutches of the Nazis? With the Nazi horde just minutes away, Tuvia realizes the group has no choice. They must take their chances in the murky water.
The Jews trusted Tuvia. He had a confidence about him that inspired them to go through the swamps.
With bated breath, they take the plunge. To their great relief, the water is only chest deep.
It was extremely hard walking through the swamps. It was deep. It was muddy.
Their bravery pays off. Behind them, the Nazis are halted. They fear that if they enter the water, they will damage their weapons. Several hours later, Tuvia and the rest of the group get to the other side of the swamp.
They were out of reach of the Germans. They finally felt free, and they felt as if they didn't have to worry as much.
Tuvia sets up a new camp in an even more isolated location, where they live for the remainder of the war. In July 1944, the Soviet Union pushes the Nazis out of Belarus.
Tuvia saved 1,250 Jews. People all over the world are alive today because of him.
Today, this shirt, once owned by Tuvia Bielski, is on display at the Holocaust Museum of Florida, a reminder of his brave struggle in the face of impossible odds. From a forgotten metropolis